From turning a man into a slurry of human remains to abandoning a helpless infant to die alone, these are the most skin-crawling scenes from the cult sci-fi horror flick Under the Skin. Under the Skin opens with a disorienting sequence of images and sounds, which the director Jonathan Glazer described as an homage to the established language of sci-fi. A few minutes in, we meet our protagonist, Laura. But Laura's is not the first face we see. A man on a motorcycle, known in the script as the Bad Man, has retrieved an unnamed woman's body. Her body is placed on a white surface in an entirely white space. The bare-skinned Laura strips this woman of her clothes and wears them. Initially, the woman appears dead, but then 2 tears escape from her eyes, indicating that perhaps she is alive. At this point, the audience doesn't have any more clues, which is one of the reasons this early sequence is so startling. We don't know who this woman is, why she's here, or how this alien has become the figure we know as Laura. She dispassionately removes the woman's clothes. The only emotion we could potentially read in her face is curiosity. Her assessment of the situation is clinical, not empathetic. This sequence establishes Laura as a menacing protagonist from the moment we meet her. After Laura steals the clothes of the incapacitated woman, we learn her objective. Laura drives around Scotland in a van, picking up men as she goes. It's a task made all the easier because of her striking beauty. Many of these scenes use guerrilla-style filmmaking techniques, and Scarlett Johansson herself went undercover and lured ordinary citizens into her van, some of whom went on to be in the final cut of the film. Laura's tactic is to lull her victims into a false sense of security by portraying herself as a lost woman looking for directions, and it works like a charm. It's when she picks up her second victim that we're let in on Laura's horrific secret. As he follows her into a house, Laura immediately starts taking off her clothes. He does the same, but by the time he's fully unclothed, it's too late. As he confidently chases after her, he starts sinking into a black substance of unknown origin. As in the previous scene, Laura's lack of emotion about his death is unsettling. It's clear she's trying to be seductive, and she's succeeding in that respect. But it's obvious to us viewers that her allure is a mask. When she stares at the man with an enticing gaze, there's only abysmal darkness behind her eyes. Though her mission is disturbing, mysterious, and deadly, one of the most unsettling scenes in the film isn't the result of Laura's heinous objective. In this scene, Laura encounters a Czech drifter camping by the ocean. When a married couple swims into the ocean to rescue their dog, the man jumps in to try and save them. Laura later finds him laying on the shore, exhausted, and proceeds to hit him on the head with a rock. She then drags him across the beach and into her van. The assault, however, is surprisingly not the most grisly part of the scene. The couple who attempted to rescue their dog left their baby on the beach. He cries as they try and fail to return to shore. Laura ignores the screaming baby, dragging the Czech man across the beach. Later that evening, the bad man returns to the beach to get rid of the Czech man's camping gear. Though it's been hours, the baby is still on the beach, screaming and struggling to stand on his stubby little legs. Though Laura and the bad man are implicated here for failing to help the child, this family's tragedy is not the result of otherworldly influence. It was simply a case of bad luck and bad weather, compounded by the indifference of these non-human witnesses. This scene works so well because it aligns perfectly with the film's moral view. The world is a cruel and unfeeling place. Laura's next victim has an even more unpleasant experience than the previous one. Laura meets this man at a club that she unwittingly ends up at after being swarmed by a gaggle of party-going women. He agrees to go back with her to the house. Still dancing as he follows her through the black space, he sinks beneath the surface, just like the man before him. But this time we get to see what's under there. Vast nothingness, except for the misshapen form of a man. This other man is horribly bloated, like he's been trapped underwater for days, and his skin appears paper thin. The clubber touches the dead man's hand, and suddenly, he pops like a balloon. All that's left of him is his skin suit, which floats like a plastic bag in the wind. There's so much to fear in this scene. The visuals are absolutely horrifying. A human body has never been contorted quite like that. But its emotional fallout is just as upsetting, as the man who has fallen below the surface realizes his nauseating fate. And then there's the conclusion of the scene, where a chunky red substance flows down a long trough and into a small opening. Is the red substance human remains? Where is it being sent? We don't know, which only makes these sequences even more frightening. Laura's next victim is a man she finds wandering the streets alone at night, who seems to prefer staying hidden from sight. This man has a facial deformity and doesn't appear to be too keen on making conversation with Laura. But Laura turns on the charm and eventually gets him to open up, encouraging him to touch her when she learns he's never had a girlfriend. It would appear that all of those long nights on the road have added up, and the viewer likely believes that Laura's begun to feel a sense of loneliness, a feeling she senses in this man as well. She feels the most like a predator in this scene, as opposed to the cheerful blokes who happily flirt with her, thrilled at the prospect of getting laid. This man has to be convinced to go with her. The final seduction is different too. Rather than having the man follow behind her, she walks backward, with the man facing her. It's more intimate than the sequences that have come before it, which makes it all the more disconcerting.
Dreaming.
Yes.
Dreaming.
Yes, we are.
We also see an alien form during the scene, which is as alarming as it is perplexing. Laura looks at the alien blankly, her expression betraying nothing. What's most disturbing is how well she reads this young man and how little remorse she has for her actions. But perhaps something has shifted within Laura, because this time she lets her victim go, though he doesn't get far. Laura is by no means a damsel in distress, but to those around her, she certainly seems like one. Laura finds herself on a bus with a man concerned with her well-being. After she admits that she needs help, he takes her back to his home and feeds her a meal she doesn't eat. Later on, they have an intimate encounter in his bedroom. The man undresses Laura and tries to have sex with her, only to find that he can't. Unfortunately, Laura has no genitalia. It's a discovery that disturbs her even more than the man. In her frustration, Laura jumps out of bed and checks between her legs, illuminating the area with a nearby lamp sitting on the nightstand. There are several layers to this eerie scene. First, it's troublesome that this man decided it's okay to have sex with a woman he thought was having a mental breakdown, which makes their encounter grim from the start. But then there's the uncomfortable implication that Laura seems to want to be with this man physically, despite the fact she doesn't seem certain about how it works. Sure, there have been grosser intimate encounters between humans and aliens on screen, but this one is unique because of how achingly human and awkward it is. Few alien reveals are more unsettling than the one at the end of Under the Skin. Still feeling unmoored, Laura wanders into the woods. She runs into a lecherous logger who tries to sexually assault her, only to find that she's not what she seems. He tries to rip off her clothes and accidentally rips off a layer of skin instead. When he sees what he's done, he flees the scene in terror. Laura then removes the rest of her skin suit. She takes off her wig and her face before sliding the rest of the skin down her shoulders like clothing. As the snow begins to fall, she kneels in the forest with the skin bunched around her waist like an unzipped onesie. The alien creature holds Laura's face in its hands as the disembodied face stares back at it with blinking eyes. By the film's conclusion, we've had the honor, or horror, of seeing Laura's true form. The predatory logger reacts as one would expect after such a revelation. He runs away scared. But he doesn't leave for good. Instead, he returns a few minutes later with a jug of gasoline and lights the alien creature on fire. The logger runs off, and the creature stumbles through the woods ablaze. It makes it to a clearing and collapses in the snow, still very much on fire. It's not clear if it's in pain or what effect the fire has on its flesh, but it's hard to believe even an alien could survive these flames. The film's final shot is of the billowing smoke in the snow, though the camera shifts at the last moment and appears to be gazing from below, perhaps in an effort to put the audience in Laura's position. Being burned alive is frightening enough, but the moral ambiguity of the scene is one of the elements that make it so disconcerting. The logger was cruel, but was he in the right to set Laura aflame? Did Laura deserve to live after what she's done? There are no answers to these questions, leaving the viewer with nothing but a heavy pit in their stomach by the time the credits roll.